Good morning.
Hey, Seattle.
As always, it's your girls, Jasmine and Shantae.
Welcome to another Thursday morning and another episode of The Way with Jazz and Tay.
We'll be bringing you lots of laughs and class to get you ready for the day and the weekend ahead.
Will it be the way or not the way? Find out and join the conversation. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Way with Jazz and Tay. As always, it's your girl Shantae.
And Jasmine.
And Jasmine was so underprepared for that entry right there.
We got distracted because we were looking at Lizzo's Rolling Stone cover. Wow.
Yeah, queen. She looks like a peacock.
We were kind of feeling like we could give Lizzo a break. You know, we were kind of just taking a break from her for a second, but this has revamped just the love that I have in my heart for her.
And when I say she looks like a peacock, I mean no shade. I think peacocks are beautiful, and she looks great on this cover.
Peacock in all of the best ways.
But Jasmine, we had a lot of really fun things going on last week. You know, last week was my birthday, and we beat that horse to death.
How'd it go?
It was awesome. We went to Purple Cafe and Wine Bar.
You remembered everything?
Yes.
Good.
I don't
We're
do
adults.
that anymore. I'm 28. I can't.
Speak for yourself. I mean.
It's starting to hit me different. So
That's the age thing.
Yes.
So yeah, we had a nice treat yourself dinner. I had steak.
Good.
It was amazing.
All right.
But we both went out of town this weekend.
Yes.
I went to Vancouver to celebrate my birthday with my family, my sister, my mom, and it was actually my first time in Canada, and I had a lot of fun. I did unfortunately get kind of sick. It wasn't sick, but kind of like I might have gotten. I had an allergy attack or hay fever, but
we're doing a sneeze count because she's still kind of under the weather.
yeah, I haven't stopped sneezing since yesterday.
I've only got 2 before you got here. So.
We're at 2. Okay, so just peep that. We're keeping
The
track.
sneeze-a-meter.
I didn't realize that you had never been to Canada before. I didn't know that was your very first time.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, it was interesting. I don't know what I was expecting from it, but it's a lot like Seattle. And honestly, once I got there and how easy it was to get there, I was like, I should, probably come here more often. It's
Yeah.
definitely a day trip.
And they allowed you back.
Yes.
Always a good thing.
She
It
got
took-
back in.
Right.
It took 2 to 3 hours to get back over the border, though.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
And we came back on MLK Day, and I think that's why.
Oh, the holidays, right, of course.
Yeah. Jasmine, what was your...
I was in Dallas, baby.
The big D.
Yes.
The big D.
It was actually one of the most cool and fun trips I've taken lately. The people in the South are so nice. I hadn't been back to the South for a long time. And I was just as soon as I got there, I was like, yeah, I could live here. I don't ever want to leave, because everywhere you went, people were just opening doors for you and, hey, how are you? And we were walking down the street and people would stop their conversation just to acknowledge you, and the fact that you're walking by smiling at them.
Where are you from?
Yes, it was so
You're
refreshing.
are we the one with the accent, or you the one with the accent?
No shade, but people out here in Seattle don't do that.
It's super funny that I was going to ask, so the Seattle freeze that people talk
We're
about.
mean
It's
here.
yeah, are we kind of mean and
We're
we just
stuck
don't know
up.
it?
I think we're
So
stuck up.
because my mom is from the South, she was raised that way, and so I grew up mainly with my mom, so I relate to her in a lot of those sentences. So I'm that kind of person, you smile at people on the street, you acknowledge them, you say hi, how you doing? So that's always been my thing. So when people used to say that, I was like, what are you talking about?
Missed Southern hospitality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now that I'm older as an adult and I hear about the Seattle freeze, and especially now that I did go down to Dallas and I see that, I'm like, oh, there is a big difference.
And you
But
get it.
yeah. Just because I am that way, I don't see that as Seattle as a collective
Yeah,
behaves in that
definitely
manner.
Not at all.
But Dallas was great. We had some really good barbecue at this place called Terry Black's Barbecue. I got really fat and happy there. Loved it. We spent some time in this area called Deep Ellum, which is kind of comparable to the Cap Hill area that we have here. It was cool. They had a bunch of little bars and you could hop around, and a bunch of young people. It was cool. But yeah, we got really, really, really drunk off of Don Julio on Saturday night. And yeah, for those of you who know me, know I'm not a good drinker. And for those of you who don't know this. I am not a good
I'm
drinker.
not a good drinker.
Are you a mess?
It's not that I'm a mess. It's just
Like,
it doesn't.
hold me up.
No, it just doesn't take a lot for me to get drunk.
You're
And it's-
lightweight.
But it's weird because it's like I'll be fine. I'll be functioning normal, and then all of a sudden I'm
just
like
hits you.
vomiting.
I think she has an allergy to
Yeah,
alcohol.
she thinks.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, that wouldn't be a bad thing.
I never see anybody go from like okay to just like
Dead.
belligerently sick.
In a switch.
And yeah, it's like, what happened? We were just good.
It's like, and it's crazy too, because sometimes it's like I can hold it together, and then we're getting home, and then it's just over. But yeah, so luckily I wasn't the only one that was like hungover. So that was kind of like a redeeming factor. We got a late start on Sunday, but the weekend was good. The weather out there was nice. We had a rental car, which I totally recommend vacations and traveling with a rental car. It saved money and it was great. There was not that much traffic out there. And secondly, like street parking and parking lot parking in the downtown area is ridiculously cheap. Like,
Cost of living, man.
there was like a meter for like 19 cents an hour. And then we got a little bit closer to the city.
Wow.
It rose to 25 cents. Unheard of.
That is unheard of.
That's for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
Not even 5 minutes here.
Right. But yeah, that was my
Jeez.
weekend. It was great. I definitely would want to go back to Dallas. I hear that Houston is another place that I should probably check out. So if I go back to Texas, I might do Houston next.
Other than their baseball team right now, but Houston's fine.
I don't know anything.
There's a lot of
about-
cheating scandals going on.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, big time.
It's like the Patriots. It's like the Patriots of the
This is
baseball
after
world.
that. Mm-hmm.
Just a lot of cheating. Trash.
Interesting.
Not the way.
So now that we've kind of recapped and caught you guys up on, our weeks and what we did, are we going to play a game today?
I feel like we should. Let's do. What's a fun one? Ooh. Let's do questions.
Oh, God.
This,
Okay.
I know this is going to be hard. All right. So questions for those of you who don't know, or for those of you who have never been a child or have a small child. You just answer everything with a question. You have to. You can't just say a statement. Okay.
Can't think about it.
Yeah, exactly. So,
And you can't ask the same question
and you
back.
right, you can't ask the same question back, and you can't also just like start repeating this. Like you can't go back. Yeah,
Can't
anyways.
repeat the same question twice.
There we go.
Yeah, you just question a question.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
All right.
Good drinking game, too, by the way.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, see?
It's a part of King's Cup.
Because the worse, the longer the game goes on, the worse it gets.
Yeah, I'm terrible at it from the jump. So
Okay, so let's see. You want to start? I'll start. No, I'm starting. Sorry. I made that decision. Where is the sunshine?
what time is it?
Where is my watch?
What day is it?
Do you know what day it is tomorrow?
What month is it?
Do you know that you're kind of being annoying?
Do you know what my favorite song is?
Do you know that?
Yeah,
I
you
think
were asking
she
questions
crushed you
really
from the start.
Yeah, you were like,
You thought about
where
every single one
is-
for that.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a rough one. I need to get on my
I was
toes.
just gonna keep going up. What hour is it?
Yeah.
What
Day
day
is
is
it?
it? Month?
What-
She already
Year?
had strategy.
Do you know
or
what
you're still
state-
hungover.
Do you know what state we're in?
Yes.
Had you from the get-go.
Okay, you start. You start this next one.
Okay. When is my birthday?
When is my month of birth?
Almost got there. Almost.
When is my month of birth?
What's my favorite food?
Do you like spicy food?
Do you?
Ooh.
Okay, so-
Throwing the twist right
Look
there.
at that. That was a quick
It's
one.
a 1-1 right now.
I only lost that because I was about to ask something that just didn't make any sense.
So we're at 1-1. We need to have a rubber match. Tiebreaker. Tiebreaker.
Okay.
All right.
All right. You ready,
You get
girl?
to start it.
All right. What's your shoe size?
What year is it?
Do you brush your teeth?
What's the temperature outside?
Do you floss your teeth?
Was
From
Eee.
behind.
Oh.
Comeback kid.
I'm a winner. I'm a
I
winner.
keep want to ask questions that don't make sense. Like, does the question have to make sense?
I don't necessarily think so because mine didn't.
I was
About
gonna-
the flossing.
I was gonna say, was yesterday hard? Like, I don't know.
That's
Hey,
a question.
That is a good question.
legit,
That
straight.
was, yeah.
Thinking way too much about it.
Let's see here. So, before we jump into like our hot topic and a couple of the things that we're going to talk about this week, I do want to touch on today is National Pie Day.
Oh, yeah, baby.
And this is not to be confused with PI pie 3.14, whatever. Number.
March 14th, then.
Yes. Oh, yeah, duh. Thank you. March 14th. This is actually pie, pumpkin, apple, peach cobbler pie. Is peach cobbler a pie? It's a cobbler.
Of sorts.
I would say yes.
Cherry rhubarb or strawberry rhubarb.
Strawberry rhubarb is my ish.
Lemon merengue, key lime. You name it.
Merengue?
Is that not
Is
how
it
you...
lemon meringue?
Yeah.
Merengue.
That's how you say it.
You gotta do it with your dance.
Merengue. That's how we'll be saying it from now on.
Merengue.
I'm so dead. That kills me. My bad. Pardon my ignorance, folks. But yeah, so if you get a chance, have some pie today. Shantae and I were thinking about checking out one of the pie bars. You know, there's a place in West Seattle. There's a place in Ballard, Cap Hill. You know, go and have a slice. You owe it to yourself, okay? Thank you. Shantae, let the people know what we're going to talk about in our hot topic.
So today's hot topic is going to be, we're going to get into the royalty. We're going to talk about Megxit, or Meghan and Harry exiting from, I don't know.
The royal family?
I don't really know what they're calling
it's hard
it.
They're like sidestepping from it.
They're like taking a backup step.
They're not going to be using their titles or anything like that.
They're going to make their own money.
So Megxit.
Megxit.
And then also we're going to tie it in with Queen Bey's Ivy Park clothing drop.
Her Adidas Ivy Park collaboration.
Yes, and how, everybody loves Beyonce, but there are some people who are a little bit upset with her, and she's getting some backlash.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that because
people are slandering the queen.
I don't know about all that. They might be just.
Hey.
But first,
let's hop into a quick break, and once we come back, we will give you the full details. Welcome back, guys. It is Jasmine from The Way with Jazz and Tay, and we are here on this beautiful Thursday morning.
How do we know it's beautiful? It's so dark outside.
I'm speaking it into existence.
I like it.
It will be a beautiful Thursday, right? It's what you make it.
I'm dead.
Let's see. What were we talking about before we went off to a break here?
So before we go into our hot topics for today, we wanted to actually review a couple of the spots that we visited while we were out of town. So my review of the week is going to be Province Marina Side. It's a restaurant in Vancouver, B.C. And actually, so while I was there, we did not know what the eating scene was like in Vancouver. But basically, the norm is that you stand in a line for a really long time unless you have a reservation. And so probably pretty much everywhere we tried to eat, we stood in a line for, 30 minutes to an hour. And so like first morning, Saturday morning, we got up. We were like, let's go get some brunch. And we tried this little spot called OEB Breakfast. Really quaint, but their wait time was like an hour. And I was like, oh, I'm hungry right now.
Yeah.
So we skipped over right next door, and that was Province Marina Side. And it was this really posh, cute little place. Like it kind of gave me luxury lifestyle type of vibes, had nice interior. And then the food was just amazing. I ordered, they were like brioche French toast. And it was basically
really
just
fluffy.
like completely covered, sorry guys, completely covered in cinnamon. So like overpowered with cinnamon, but then they also had a raspberry puree, and I was like, like so soft. I've never had French toast that soft. If you guys know me, I love breakfast, so I could rave about this forever. But if you ever get the chance to go to Vancouver and you're looking for a spot, check Province Marina Side out.
Did they have any like breakfast cocktails or drinks?
Yes, they had
better.
mimosas.
Right.
And they had
better.
they had
Sounds
mimosas
delicious.
in like different flavors. So I had a
Ooh.
sour raspberry mimosa.
They have
Oh.
the traditional, the Morning Glory, the Cure, bitter grapefruit, Okanagan Orchard, sour raspberry, cherry bomb, and tropical.
Yeah.
Talk to me real quick about the Cure. What's in the Cure?
It says Elephant Island. I can't read that other word. It's a small little thing on the island. Well, it just says Morning Glory. We'll just go with that.
Interesting.
Well, cool. I'm glad.
Definitely.
What did your mom and like sister get? What kind of food did they get?
Omelets.
Oh,
And they were good too.
omelets.
Yeah, they were really good. My sister got like it was a Black Forest ham
Oh, okay.
and Gruyere cheese omelet, and I was like,
Ooh. You love some Gruyere cheese.
I like cheese, period. So like throw in Gruyere and I'm there. So and it was Black Forest ham and the ham was just so good.
Love it.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm going to choose this place called Select Start in Deep Ellum, which is in Dallas. And it's in that same little area that I was speaking of earlier where you could kind of just like walk around and bar hop and things. And this place was particularly cool because it was kind of like an arcade bar. So they had like racing machines and they had like some pinball. They had one of those.
Like an arcade? Kind of?
That's
A
yeah,
little bit of both?
yeah.
Sweet.
They had like this, you know, those. I don't even know what they're called, but they're the ones where you have like the fake basketballs and you're like throwing them into the hoops and they're coming back down.
Basketball.
Is that just what
Like
it's
pop
called?
a shot?
Yeah, exactly, something like that. And then I didn't.
Bring me more. I got it.
Yeah.
I got all your answers.
I didn't realize this either, but like behind the bar, like, you know, usually when you go to bars, they always have like flat screens up and they have like games on or TV or whatever. And so we were just like watching the TVs without even realizing that they're actually like video games. And so the people that are sitting at the bar are actually playing the video games on the TV.
Oh,
And it's super cool. They had, you know, like original Mario games. They had people up there playing Call of Duty. Like it was really cool. I got down on this Ghostbusters version of pinball. Like that was because here's the
Nice.
thing. I went over
Nice.
to it and it had 15 credits already on it.
Oh.
So best believe I was just going ball after ball after ball. It was hard. I can't, you know, I don't know how pinball is hard, but it was hard. My highlight of Select Start was the drink that I ordered came in like an adult size Capri Sun pouch.
I
Nice.
love that.
It was like, I didn't even care if the drink tasted good or not.
Who doesn't
Like
want that?
when he gave it to me, because I ordered it because it sounded good. And then when he gave it to me in this big pouch, I was like, are you kidding me? This is my drink. And it was actually really good. It was like I don't want to say like a mimosa, but it was like a champagne that had like fruit syrup or like flavoring in it. You know, it was like a simple syrup or something, and it was iced, and it was really, really good. But it was so cute. I was able to just kind of like hug it on my finger and walk around with this alcohol liquid pouch and just.
Is it reusable? I found a picture.
Yeah.
It's a
you
reusable
could-
pouch.
Yeah. So like if you really want to like take it, you could, you know, zip it and re-zip
Are
it.
there holes on the top of it? You can like hang it around your neck?
I put my finger in it.
Oh, okay.
That sounds dirty. But I did. I carried it on my finger. I was like kind of swinging
Sure.
it around as like a little purse. Yeah. But I would check it out, you know. It's definitely a place where it's not very large. So it might be a place that you only like stop by for a few drinks and like play a couple games, maybe start off the night there or something like that. Definitely not like a club kind of vibe, you know. The music was good, however.
Like a dive bar.
And it wasn't divey because it was nice. It was very put together and like really kind of modernized, but still not a place where you'd want to be packed in there. One other really cool thing that they had there was a mist shot. It was like they vaporized the liquor into like this balloon.
Oh, I've heard about
Yeah,
this.
it was the craziest thing ever. You could buy an air mist shot for like $5, and you put a balloon over this little machine, and you pretty much do it the same way that you would if you're like filling up a helium balloon, but it's like mystifying or like vaporizing the alcohol, and then you just inhale the contents of the
Interesting.
balloon, and it's like, you know, you're taking in a shot. It was really bizarre. This we saw one of the girls next to us do it, and it was really cool, but we were kind of like afraid to, especially since this was the night after we had all died.
That was just
from all that
that was a
tequila.
given.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely check out Select Start as well as the Deep Ellum area as a whole. If you want to have a good time in Dallas. This one girl tried to flash us on the street while we were down there. That's how I know she was having a great time. Don't be that lady, but also be that lady.
And now that we've given you guys our reviews for the week, let's get into the hot topic. So we're going to talk about what the internet is calling Mexit, or I guess we should say Twitter is calling Mexit.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Go ahead, get your wave down, ladies.
Oh, that's right. Cup the hand. Oh, hello.
Cup the hand.
Hello.
Yes.
Cheerio.
So, as most of you guys know, probably a week ago now, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle announced that they will no longer be
using their titles
and taking the taxpayers' money,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, they're going on their own.
And they're going to try and do this thing on their own while still supporting, their family.
And their baby. They got little baby Archie to worry about, too. I think that's his name, I hope. Archie.
I'm going to be really honest with you guys on this topic. I'm very, I don't know what the word is. I'm very kind of like, that's cool. I really dig Prince Harry.
Yeah.
I think that he's different from everybody else. And as we can tell, I mean, he's the first one to say, I'm going to walk away from all of this and try to do this on my own. But I like that about him. He just seems like a different kind of royal, and I like him and Meghan together. They kind of seem like they could change the world if they really wanted to.
It's what I've always felt about with him is because he was the younger brother, and his older brother has been held to such a higher regard because they're grooming him, they're preparing him to take over one day and all of this, he's always kind of had to find his own way in a different in a lot of senses, he's always been known as the the partier or just a little more of the wild child, and so it's not a shocker, it's not
at all.
It's cool, and everybody was already giving him all kinds of, America, we were giving him all kinds of props and stuff, because he pulled himself an African-American woman. Everybody was like, oh, you like a little flavor and stuff like that, but that in itself, I feel like the fact that he is married to a black woman is a huge factor as to why they've made the decision
Has
that they have.
Great deal to do with it. I actually read an article, my friend sent me this article where it was essentially dissecting and analyzing the different articles. Essentially, same exact things were happening between Kate Middleton and Meghan Markle, but the way that the media was portraying it was complete opposite spectrum. So, if Kate Middleton was like, avocados are my pregnancy food, they were like, Kate Middleton eats superfood during pregnancy, and then Meghan Markle's eating avocados, and they're like, avocados are the waste of the world and she's just killing everything. And it was just kind of like, I'm so confused as to why we're even writing about avocados
in the first place.
That's my first question. And then secondarily, why is Meghan Markle always seeming to do it wrong?
She just can't win.
And that was in his announcement, that was one of the things that Harry said. He said that they are really displeased with the way that they're being portrayed in the media, and they think that it's unfair, so they were going to take a step back because they don't want to be a part of that
because they're going against the traditional grain. And everyone over there, it's the royalty thing that's been going on for year after year after year after year. So when there's a shakeup like this, I think everyone's getting like, whoa. What caused that? Well, they're putting a little bit of pressure and blame on her, right?
And the other aspect too is apparently they didn't talk to the Queen or anybody else about it before they and I don't know, I feel like that's very untraditional, and I don't know about in their how their setup is, but I would have found that to be disrespectful.
Oh, without a doubt.
That to me is definitely not the way.
The Queen's not. It was like, excuse me. But can we just be honest for a second? What line is Harry to the throne? There's Prince William's first son, Prince William's daughter, the next son, and then Harry.
and then Harry's kid, and et cetera, you know? So a lot would have to happen. Like some Game of Thrones type of stuff would have to happen in order for Harry to end up in that position, you know? It's just not, it's not likely.
It's not likely, and I think that, I mean, granted, like, I don't know everything about, you know, how they're run, so I can't say, like, I just feel like it's kind of blown out of proportion. I'm like, dude, I feel like you guys aren't even giving Harry half the attention and attention that you guys give Prince Williams and his family, and it's kind of like a fuss just to be upset, a fuss.
Yeah, and I remember reading something or hearing something lately where with his mom, Diana, that she stopped using her title after a while too. You know, so it's not necessarily like this is completely unheard of.
Right.
You know, there shouldn't be like, oh, my panties are all in a bunch, you know, just it's the way of the world. And I'm happy for them. I heard something that Meghan has like a voiceover deal now with Disney, you know, and that's huge. And there goes income right there that you're generating for yourself and your family. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah. It should be interesting to see.
Yeah.
They're still going to obviously be an active part of the family and have to show up at appearances. It'll just be a matter of how many, and it's going to be cut in half.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely interested to see in what direction that goes, and if anything else happens.
I want to see
or develops from that.
I want to see too what Harry ends up doing. Like, I don't really know much about him outside of him being the prince. So
he was in the military.
Okay, cool. So is he?
It was a pilot. He flew, I believe, helicopters. Was it?
That makes sense because there's that really popular like clip of him or like that gif of him where he's giving an interview, and all of a sudden everybody around him is running, and he just like takes off and gets up and starts running, and it's like, ooh, you go get him, Harry. Go get him.
Yeah, so he was in the military. Both of them are very heavily involved.
Harry dramatic run. You just look that up. You'll find it.
Yeah?
It's exactly what it is.
Exactly,
Yeah.
see?
Yes, for the
You'll
internet.
know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, they're very heavily involved in charities and want to continue to do that. So I think that they'll honestly probably go that route and try to create a nonprofit or charity that they can be involved with.
And I hope y'all leave them alone. The paparazzi, y'all need to leave them alone. They've asked for their privacy in this, you know, like, they just knock it off, okay? Have some decency for yourselves and these people.
It's probably going to make that worse, though.
Right.
I know. You don't want attention?
Yeah, right? Exactly.
We're going to stalk you even harder.
Yeah. Without a doubt. And so, you know, now that we've kind of kicked it off with royalty, let's get into more royalty.
And by royalty, we mean the queen,
Beyonce.
Knowles Carter.
Hey, I knew he was going to do it.
I'm ready for you. Come on.
Bring the beat in. Hey. Yes. So Miss Beyonce Knowles Carter, she dropped her Adidas Ivy Park collaboration collection this week, or on the 18th. And it sold out within hours. So
I didn't even get a chance to look at it.
If you blinked, you missed it. And if you wanted some, you're going to have to wait. We don't even know when the next drop is going to be.
Yeah, man. That's just crazy how, like, she's got that support. You know, that's amazing how fast she was able to do that. So that's big ups to her on that. But dang, like, y'all couldn't even left anything for me? Like,
for nobody.
I couldn't even get a pair of leggings. Let me get a T-shirt.
Some socks.
Yeah, some socks even? A hat? Can I get a hat? Dang.
Yeah. So Beyonce's been doing a lot of promo on her Instagram for this, and the collection is really dope. I like it a lot, honestly. I would love to cop a few pieces once, you know, they re-up on that.
Whenever they bring it back.
But she has been receiving a lot of backlash, and honestly, I don't want to say a lot of backlash because when I tried to research this, I honestly only found 2 people who seem to be up in arms about it.
Yeah, I've found very mixed things about this as well.
Right. And I have something to say about that. But first, let's get into it. So essentially, there's been kind of an outcry or backlash from some people in the plus size community who feel that she's excluded them intentionally. Essentially, when she dropped this collection, there was only up to like XL or 16 to 18. And the average American, I guess, is a size 16 to 18. So
I didn't know that.
If your largest size is a 16 to 18, we've already,
got a problem.
Yeah, half the people can't even get anything. However, I was looking at the website just last night, and I saw 2Xs and 3Xs.
Yeah. And not only that, but like Lizzo was able to get a package. And I know that, no offense, we all know this, Lizzo's a bigger woman. But
Lizzo's a plus size woman.
I don't think she's an XL,
Yeah.
So like that alone kind of shoots some holes in that theory.
And so like a lot of the, I saw a tweet that kind of called her out, and the woman was saying, Beyonce, I'm tired of this, my feelings are hurt. We can still be Beyonce fans and tell her that she's wrong. And she basically just said that the exclusion is absolutely intentional. And I don't agree at all.
How can you say that? Like, Beyonce did this on purpose.
Beyonce, you intentionally excluded my size.
And everybody knows, like, Beyonce is all about inclusivity. That's not a word.
Inclusivity.
Thank you. She's all about that, She's always empowering those who are bigger, smaller, those people who don't have that voice or who don't normally take the front and stuff. She's all about that. So for them to say that, and here's the thing. It could have been maybe they were sold out at that time.
I think
because this stuff went that fast.
Yeah. And that's actually what a lot of people said in response was that, it sold out so quickly. It was gone. And so then you just didn't have a chance. And I would also like to say in regards to that, I don't think that the stuff was that expensive, but like if you were not sitting there waiting for it to drop, you were not going to get it anyway. So it's like, other than the fact that she didn't have sizes, there's like a whole other group of people that just, like the latecomers.
Yeah. Like us. We're upset because we just didn't even get a chance to buy it. I mean, Beyonce, why didn't you think about this? Beyonce, you should have made.
You should have made more. You should have put out more.
I'm upset about it, and I'm gonna go to Twitter and be like, "Yo, Beyonce couldn't afford to make more of this product."
I mean, I don't want to say that, us being late to the party is equal to, being excluded as a plus size person. But I do want to say that there's a lot of people who were also not able to purchase any of the Beyonce items or Ivy Park items. And I think that we should all just kind of like give her a break and wait to see the second drop, because maybe she's going to include more sizes.
Right.
And I honestly feel like this is a lot, like when products drop, there's kind of a cycle, or like the people who are going to get it are called the early adopters, and they kind of set the trajectory of like what they're going to do next when they drop again. So now that she knows that people that are plus size are upset with the size selection she has, guess what she'll do when she drops the second
She'll
one?
make those tweets.
She's going to have more for everyone, and she'll probably have more sizes. That's what I would hope.
I like that you brought that up, because this was the first drop of this line.
Right.
Like, there's obviously things that are gonna be hits and misses, and things that you can adjust and tweak for next time. So that was a very good thing that you brought up that.
You drop a product and you learn from it. Exactly. And I think that, I mean, I definitely understand, feeling excluded, but I think that it's just kind of one of those things where wait to see what she does next time. And if the problem is not solved, then maybe we say, okay, excuse me, you've done this not once, but you've done this twice now, where you've excluded my size category.
Let's talk about really quickly too, since we're talking about excluding, people were upset that she sent the unboxing. She sent those boxes and the packaging to other celebrities and influencers.
Yeah.
Do you think that was problematic? Do you think she should have sent them to regular folk?
It's funny. So when I first saw Yara Shahidi get her box, I felt so envious.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, she got the whole collection sent to her house. She didn't even have to pay for anything.
Right.
Beyonce was just like, I want you in my stuff. And, obviously I can recognize that as envy. And I think that that's what everybody is feeling.
Yes.
Because it's sold out. They can't get any. And, people were essentially just like gifted it. But at the same time, like, this happens all the time.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. I saw other people just whom I follow in my own feed that were gifted like boxes and things, and they weren't necessarily like celebrities or like big name influence. You know what I mean? So I do feel like there was some kind of balance there. Do you know what I mean? However, I will point out that I did notice they were all like women of color and, you know, people who were in that aspect, which I will always give a big ups to. So,
and I think that that's kind of, that's something that we've been learning with, you know, building this podcast up is your brand is everything. And I think that what she did was she saw people who she wanted to represent her brand and who she wanted to see in Ivy Park. And she wanted the people that they influence on a daily to also be in Ivy Park. So she went and she gifted it to them. And she said, I want you in this because I want whoever watches you to also be in it.
You know,
and I don't think people think about like, you know, the larger picture or like why people do things. But I feel like that would probably be a big proponent in it.
Piggybacking on that. That is a very good point because two of the main people that I'm thinking about that I saw that did that had the unboxing and that I sent to them. One was Lala Milan, whom, if you guys know her, she's this funny. She became big, kind of like up on these apps, and she's a comedian, very hilarious. And she's always been very, very, very thin and slim, and she's not always had like, you know, a full-bodied womanly figure. And she got the Ivy Park sent to her. And then I also noticed or remembering about Lizzo, you know, Lizzo also got that, you know, and these are people whom very different body sizes and types and very different varying in heights and everything like that. And that's a very good point. It's showing that like, you know, it's for everybody, you know, it'll look good on any body type. It doesn't matter whether you're thick, thin, tall, small, you know, that's a very good point. I feel like it is very inclusive.
You know,
the designs really, I feel like were made to be worn on any body type.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I definitely think that it's unfortunate that people feel that they were intentionally excluded.
Yeah.
And I think we can acknowledge, you know, that feelings were hurt. But I also think that maybe we just wait to see because I don't think the Queen would ever intentionally, you know.
And I'm just going to wait for the hype to die down a little bit before I try to get mine, you know, because here's my thing. I don't want to get my hopes up and then still not be able to get it, you know, just a series of like, and
they're
maybe today, no.
They are making this like a hot commodity because even last night when I was trying to figure out sizing, like, you could go on and see the prices, but they were like, sorry, this is not available. So they wouldn't let me do anything else. Like, let me know, email me when this is back in stock.
You couldn't even do that? Trash.
Yeah.
She's probably just going to do a surprise drop and not say anything.
Of course.
And then all of a sudden people are just going to be on the website and be like, oh, shoot, they restocked. And then get on Twitter and then that's going to be over.
It'll be sold out
It'll
again.
be like the Popeye's chicken sandwich.
Have you guys had one yet?
I haven't.
I had one before the hype.
Oh.
I did because I had
trendsetter.
I had a friend put me on.
That's a compliment, by the way.
Yeah, I had a friend put me on knowing that we live just down the street from a Popeyes. And I went and had it for lunch one day and I was like, yo, he might have been onto something. This is actually it's actually pretty good. I was like, yeah, you know, you're right. But it wasn't good enough for me to be like, yo, Shantae, you gotta go get this chicken sandwich. Mom, Dad, everybody, get this, you know? And then it was literally like 2 weeks later that everyone was like going crazy about it and people were dying over it.
Right on.
I haven't had it since, I will say that. I've kind of boycotted it since because it's not worth anyone's life.
I haven't had it yet. I'm just not that pressed.
She's more of a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich girl anyways.
For the hype. I always wait for hype to kind of like just cool off so I have time to just get in there, get my thing, get out. And,
Right. I don't want to be in a long line. And I don't need to die over it either. So
same.
Not that serious.
Yeah, we want you to come back for the show. Thanks.
Yeah. I'd like
Appreciate
to.
it. Appreciate that.
You know,
priorities.
Life is a priority of mine.
Yeah. So now that we've kind of touched on both of our topics, we'd love if you guys, you know, reached out to us on Instagram. That's The Way Jazz and Tay. And, you know, DM'd us and let us know what you think about Mexit and about Beyonce's Ivy Park collection.
Yeah. We'd love to know how other people feel about it.
Did any of you guys get in line for the Ivy Park and actually cop some of that gear?
Yeah.
And do you think that she intentionally excluded plus size women?
Yeah. Let's hop off and let's go to a quick quick break. You are listening to The Way with Jazz and Tay. We'll catch you in a few.
Welcome back to The Way with Jazz and Tay, you guys. Just before the break, we finished up talking about our hot topics, which was #Mexit
and Beyonce's Ivy Park Adidas collab.
Definitely hit us up on social media and let us know what you guys think about both of those topics.
Yeah, was it the way or was it not the way?
But now we're going to get into our Seattle happenings,
which is going to be kept brief. There's not much going on. Shantae and I, well, there's probably always so much going on.
There's always something.
But Shantae and I have had a really busy week, business-wise and personally. And next week we'll probably get back into our social life. Woo!
What's that?
I know, right? But today is Thursday, and a friend of ours, Teza Talks, is having a show at Numos. It's actually her first headlining show, so that is amazing. Big ups to her on that. I don't know if you have tickets already. I'm sure there's probably going to be tickets available, but go and see the show. Check it out if you can, because I've seen some of her stuff. I've listened to some of her stuff, and I know that she's going to put on a really good performance.
Yeah, we saw some footage of one of her other concerts, and she's definitely putting on a show.
Her energy is vibe. She's just a dope. Her energy is vibe. Her energy is dope, and she's just a vibe. Yeah, so check that out. That's going to be today. I think at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
I think so.
Yeah. Saturday, we're going to be at Joey's South Center doing some business thing.
What's up? We got an announcement for you guys.
Yeah, so stay tuned on that. But Joey's South Center, shouts out. We're probably going to have some good drinks, eat some good food. So we'll be there at 1 o'clock if you guys want to stop by and say hi. But don't, because we'll be working.
Don't do that.
Other than that, Shantae and I have a photo shoot lined up next weekend. We're really excited about that. Who are we shooting with?
We're shooting with Lex Scope Productions.
Skirt, skirt.
So Lex Scope actually did all the video production for our Emerald City Gala red carpet event or interviews. And
he slayed. Absolutely slayed.
Yeah, we're really excited to work with him again and actually hope that we can form some type of working relationship partnership with him, because we really like him.
And we also need some new photos. So
desperately.
So be prepared to also get really tired of seeing our faces, because there's going to be a lot of photos of us floating around soon.
It's funny because I've been putting up those gala interviews, and I'm like, are you guys tired of seeing us yet?
Yeah. Also, we've got stickers. I'm excited about that. We have stickers with our logo on it. Really quickly, just a selfless promotion here. Shameless. What is wrong with my word choice today? I swear I'm dyslexic or something.
She's tired.
But we just got stickers with our logo on it, so we'll definitely be passing those around. And keep your eyes out around the city.
In the city.
Because you just might see them.
Ooh, and since we're on Seattle happenings, and we did say that we'd talk about this briefly, we do want to send our condolences, our prayers, good vibes and thoughts to all of those that were affected by the shooting that happened last night in downtown Seattle.
As well as the 2 other shootings.
There's been a lot of shootings happening in Seattle, and last night was probably a really bad one. There were 7 people that were injured, and one woman actually passed away from her wound, her injuries. And there was actually also a 9-year-old kid who was shot. And it sounds like it was just 2 people decided to have a shootout in the middle of downtown.
After getting into an argument.
Because this is the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
And it was right around the time, that people would be getting off of work. So probably about 5 o'clock, they shut down downtown.
It was kind of scary because
it was weird. Yeah, we actually, I work in downtown, in the heart of it, and I actually took the light rail, which is like our subway, small scale.
Very small.
I took the light rail to Capitol Hill, where Jasmine works, and it goes through the area that they shut down. And I noticed when I was going through that area that there were no people getting on at that stop. like there was barely anybody there, and I was like, that's super weird. Because it's always packed at the Westlake Center.
And when it's like rush hour,
stop.
you know,
it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
you know, people are off of work, and there was nobody, and I was like, that's really weird. But let's keep it going because I've got somewhere to be. And then I got off, and as Jasmine's picking me up, we just see a bunch of cop cars just flying down, you know, back towards downtown.
And it was like over the course of like 5 minutes, like I was leaving my job and there was like cop cars flying, and I'm like calling her to coordinate, like, hey, where are you at so I can meet up with you? And then 5 minutes later, like 3 more cop cars.
And additional.
And it was just over the course of like those 10, 15 minutes that more and more just kept flying by. And I was like, dang, I thought it was an accident. I thought it was a bad accident.
Definitely thought it was an accident. But yeah, as I said, our condolences are with, you know, the family of the woman who lost her life. And I hope that the 9-year-old is doing better and that, you know, they catch these guys because they're still at large, from my understanding.
I hope everyone recovers from their injuries and that no more blood is shed in the city. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. 3 shootings in like,
they said less than
24
hours.
Yeah.
And one of them was an officer involved shooting, which that's insane within itself. Just, ugh.
So be safe out there, you guys, and be aware of your surroundings.
Also, really quickly, for those of you who celebrate, this Saturday, the 25th, is the beginning of Lunar New Year. So for those of you who participate and celebrate that, just keep that in mind. Don't forget. I'm sure you guys probably have already been preparing for that, but that is coming up. I'm reminded by that because when Desiree and I were at the mall in Dallas, there's like this skating rink that they had in there, which we didn't know. There's like an ice skating rink in this mall. Really cool. But they had this really, really cool, beautiful like display hanging from the ceiling. And this how the mall is shaped, it's kind of like in this big circle, and the skating rink is in the middle. So that whole entire space is just open.
Interesting.
And it's like 3 or 4 different levels. So on each level you can see this display, this art. And it was a bunch of like red and yellow or like red and gold Chinese lanterns. They were big, and it was so pretty how they had it displayed, and it was really cool to see how they put that together to honor the Lunar New Year. So
it's really cool.
Yeah, so check it out. And if you don't know what Lunar New Year is, go ahead and do some research on it. I know it's something that they had us celebrate in elementary school. They kind of educated us about. So just check it out. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, at my job, they do a really great job of educating us on different, you know, experiences and stuff like that. And so we're actually having like a Lunar New Year lunch, I think.
Oh, cool.
I'm excited about that.
Tell me what the food is. I'm excited to hear about that.
Right? So let's do a really quick recap.
Skirt, skirt. So let's see. Dallas and Vancouver.
The way
or not the way?
The way.
All the way.
Both ways.
Yeah.
North and south.
Getting hungover off of Don Julio, not the way.
I don't know.
I know.
To
right?
see you in your limelight, that might be a partial way.
Right.
The way that I felt, though, definitely not the way.
True. Not the way.
And then, yeah, Vancouver, the way. Getting sick, not so much.
Never.
Our round of questions, our game of questions.
Me winning, definitely the way.
I always say this, but just always remember that I won first.
That is true. You usually come in first.
Always. So, never forget.
I'll give you this. You get a ding.
Thank you. I'll take it.
But I got the horn.
Yeah. Totally.
And then the hashtag Mexit.
Megxit, I'm going to say is the way. Good for them. The way.
I think it's the way. I think, honestly, everybody should just do whatever makes them happy.
Right, and mind your business.
And yeah, and I think the media should get off their backs. So,
before we touch on Beyonce and Ivy Park, Select Start in Dallas, definitely going to be the way. Check that out if you're ever out there for some drinks and some fun, and might be even fun to do on like a little date or something, but that's definitely the way.
As well as Province Marina side. Definitely the way. I'm telling you, the French toast was to die for.
Ooh, I knew you were going to say that.
And then back to our hot topics. Beyonce is always the way.
Yeah, she herself is the way. Beyonce is the queen.
I think that this backlash is not the way. I don't know. I don't really see any, I don't want to say merit, but for lack of a better word, I don't see any real merit to the uproar. I've only seen like 2 to 5 tweets about it.
Yeah.
So unless like it's like like a bevy of people that are just really upset about it, I'm just kind of like, okay, well, this is people being upset again.
Yeah, you know, like, and from what I have seen, just between the celebrity packages and etc., like that's the way. I love how she's chosen to showcase the collection. So yeah, the way.
And then Seattle happenings, always the way. The shooting, absolutely not the way. We need to keep our streets safe.
And our children safe. And our elderly safe. Like, downtown is just too big and busy of an area to be having all this catastrophe.
Yeah.
Like, knock it off.
But yeah, so thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of The Way with Jazz and Tay.
Follow us on IG at The Way Jazz and Tay. Follow us on Twitter at The Way JT.
As always, thank you so much for tuning into The Way. Catch you next week, same time, same place. Follow us on Instagram at The Way Jazz and Tay and on Twitter at The Way JT.
Don't be afraid to DM us if you have any questions or suggestions about the show. Until next time, bye.
Peace.